Here's your host, Stephen K. Bannon.
Jeff Davis joins us. Jeff, the Greenville GOP convention last night, extraordinary. Here's the thing I found amazing. I talked to the media beforehand and they did clips. They had a handful. They have a handful of these protesters outside, the Democratic Socialists or whatever they are. People outside that are all worked up. Oh, Bannon's an anti-Semite. I think folks that watch this show consistently know what a bald-faced lie that is. But it's just a handful of these typical, if you had to cast a PBS special with the goofy left, it was the typical goofy left with their goofy signs. You see them on Rachel Maddow every night, the protests are building across the country, and she's shooting, a thing to 15 people in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. In the local media, if you see the thing, the segments they did, half would be the protesters, and the protesters sitting there, saying everything, and oh, you guys are domestic terrorists. Inside the convention is one of the most important political stories going on. And the local Greenville media, the TV media, are such, and you realize how dumb media is as they get up to the national level, and that's why you see these idiots like Caitlin Collins, these people asking these really pathetically stupid questions of Trump. They're so dumb. Because they're actually actors. They're not, they're all there for appearance because it's television. They're sitting there, I'm thinking, one of the most important political stories in the country is right in this room. Because people know I don't waste my time. I really channel my time to work on things that are of the urgent and of the moment. And what happened in Greenville last night, just like in Tarrant County. The two folks in Tarrant County and in Greenville, and by the way, in Denton County, you're getting there. They're still split, but in Tarrant County and in Greenville, they've taken care of the problem. This is a precinct strategy, grassroots, where people have taken control of the apparatus and are not backing off and saying, "Hey, we're not going to play ball with the establishment anymore. We're not going to play your controlled opposition game." And it's really magnificent to watch. On the 14th, on a Monday night, Jeff Davis coming here. How many folks were there? Were 1,000 or more? That is a massive turnout in April in a non-election year of citizens that came. They've just shown up. Yeah. How big was it?
We had about 1,300 there last night. It was an exciting event. You were obviously a big draw to get people in there, but really it was about all of the delegates that were there to vote and cast out the Rhino establishment. Fortunately, the Rhinos or the establishment here in Greenville, South Carolina, boycotted our precinct reorganization this year. So we were probably missing about 300 or 400 of them in there, but they didn't want to pay the $20 fee to come to the convention and just give us extra money to fight the establishment. So it was a great evening, fantastic event. Had yourself on there, and you were a big draw to get some guests, and really people from all across the state showed up from other GOPs, and we had people as far away as from Texas, and actually a gentleman from New York came down to see you. So it was fantastic.
Talk to me about how you guys did this. You did it in the darkest days of 2021. Walk us through, because I want this to be a template. You and Tarrant County have to be, and there's others around that I've already identified, but you are the primal force in back of President Trump and the MAGA movement. What you folks have done at the precinct level and to take over incredibly important counties, Tarrant County in Texas and Greenville, which is the buckle of the Bible Belt, but really hardcore conservatives in MAGA. How did you guys do it? Go back to the beginning and walk us through how it did, because it ain't easy, folks. As people in the precinct strategy know already, you're not greeted with. They don't have a big bouquet of roses and a bottle of wine to welcome you aboard when you show up.
No, it actually goes back to when President Trump was first elected in 2016. We went to the local party here and asked them, said, this is a great opportunity to get all these MAGA people involved. Can we be involved in the recruiting? We were all part of the Tea Party back in those days. So we were kind of off to the side in the first place. But you know what? The local county party said those people will never show up again. Those people are one-time voters. We don't really care about them. And it was a shocker for me. So it really made me realize that the party did not want the citizens, and especially the grassroots citizens, involved in the organization. Greenville County is 550,000 citizens, and there were probably in the old days maybe 300 people that would come to a convention. So you got 300 people making a decision about how the local party is run, and we are the driving force for the entire state of South Carolina, being the largest county. So we actually ran a candidate, a gentleman by the name of Presley Stutz, in 2019. We learned a little bit about the reorg process, and I tell you, it is not welcoming. The rules are written to be interpreted either way, whatever way the establishment wants the rules to be interpreted that will benefit them. And then we really got involved. With the stolen election of 2020, we rolled out our organization, mySCGOP.com or .news, and we rolled that organization out literally on January 21st, 2021. So we were there in the darkest of days, as you like to call it. And what our mission was to teach people about how to get involved in precinct reorg. It's really what Dan Schultz is doing out of Arizona, and what you've had him on there, and that's what we're trying to teach people and educate people to do. And we've been very successful at it here in South Carolina, especially here at ground zero being Greenville, County, South Carolina. But we went through the process. We learned. I will tell you, you actually made the comment last night that we seem to get worse press than you do, and that's what's shocking about it. We actually get it's like locusts. They will come out and attack you from right and left, and most people are not prepared for that type of verbal attack. Most people, human nature is not built to enjoy conflict. I think you look back at 1776, it was the 3% that were engaged in the Revolutionary War. Well, I mean, we're in our second Revolutionary War now, and it's really the 3% that are willing to put up with it. I couldn't express to you. You get bad press and all kinds of the racist comments, and you saw the signs out there yesterday from the few protesters from the Democratic Party. But I mean, the attacks that they levy on us are just almost mind blowing. And you've got to have, as you said, boot leather or thick skin like President Trump does to be able to even participate in this thing. I'm a tax attorney, CPA, and if you would ask them, I'm the biggest criminal on the planet and the biggest racist on the planet as well. So, but that's not how it is, and we have fought, we have battled through it. We have a firm belief that the precinct reorganization process and getting involved and taking back the bully pulpit of the Republican Party is how we save this country. If we take the bully pulpit of the GOP, that helps us influence the other 97% of the electorate as to which candidates are the good candidates, which are the MAGA candidates. And if we get more MAGA America First candidates elected, then we'll get better legislation, and it will trickle up to the D.C. level. So everything that you're doing and President Trump is doing at the national level, the federal level, we're trying to meet you in the middle by working up from the bottom, from the actual precinct. So that's how we're doing it. It's really not a hard it's difficult. You have to have a certain character to be able to participate in this, but it's easily done. It's easily winnable, and everybody, every precinct, every county out there ought to be setting themselves up with a 2-year plan to take over and take back their precinct, activate their precinct, and get involved and take over their local county parties and ultimately their state parties. And that's how we believe we'll save America.
Okay, this is the model. Jeff, can you hang on for a few minutes? We're gonna go to commercial break here in a couple of minutes. I'm gonna bring Russ Vogt in at OMB, and then I want to bring you back. So if you can hold, I'd appreciate it. Jeff Davis is the GOP chair of Greenville County GOP, and it's extraordinary the lessons of these folks in Tarrant County. It's a template for the country. Now, there's a lot more of you folks out there working on this. I know our big thing is to expose you to the national media of really the beating heart of MAGA is and how strong this movement is. The Hill newspaper today, which the Hill is no friend of MAGA and no friend of Trump, but it does some good reporting. It's a little slanted. It's not totally obnoxious like some of them. Not nearly as bad as Politico. But the Hill has an interesting article today about polling they're doing and others are doing, NBC, I think, and others. And guess what? 70% of Republican voters now identify as MAGA. and this includes new voters that we're bringing in. The MAGA movement is at the early stages of this reorientation and redirection of this grand realignment that AOC and Bernie Sanders are running around cosplaying populists, cosplaying economic nationalists. And you see everything they talk about, it's climate change and Gaza and climate change and DEI, nothing that gets to the heart of it. One of the issues both in Texas and South Carolina, how do you have a huge MAGA base? How do you have a political movement that's energizing people, yet you have establishments in Texas and in South Carolina that are adamantly opposed to that? And I mean adamantly. Down in the trenches, we're going to defeat you, and we're going to pull every dirty trick in the book to do it. Part of that reason is what Jeff just said. Human nature is that, hey, we're not built for conflict. Well, in this one, you're going to have to be like the Patriots in 1775. This is the week of the 250th anniversary of Lexington and Concord. And it is that DNA, it's that spirit, it's that fighting spirit that comes down through every patriot's grave to the current time. That's what separates out MAGA. Okay, we have a world on fire financially. I think we've done a pretty good job in the last couple of years of getting you guys ready for this. So much more to come. That's why right now, take out your phone. The price of gold, which is high, is not the point. It's the process of how it got there. We're teaching you how to fish, not giving you a fish.
This is the primal scream of a dying regime. Pray for our enemies, because we're going medieval on these people. You're just not got a free shot on all these networks lying about the people. The people have had a belly full of it. I know you don't like hearing that. I know you try to do everything in the world to stop that, but you're not going to stop it. It's going to happen.
And where do people like that go to share the big lie? MAGA media. I wish in my soul, I wish that any of these people had a conscience.
Ask yourself, what is my task and what is my purpose? If that answer is to save my country, this country will be saved.
War Room. Here's your host, Stephen K. Bannon.
It's the Ides of April, 15 April, year of our Lord 2025. It's your favorite day of the year, is it not? Maybe not. We're going to get into that in one moment. If I'm going to have my clock, I would appreciate that. Thank you, sir. Jeff Davis, you last night at the convention, which was extraordinary. What gets me, the local media, the folks that got one job to do, they're like, they got one of the biggest political stories in the country right there, and they not just miss it, they miss it on purpose. But that's fine. That's what the media is supposed to do. That's what President Trump lights them up in the Oval every day when he does these press avails. That's one of the reasons he does a press avail. It's called disintermediation. He's disintermediating the mainstream media from standing between him and the people, and it's incredibly powerful. Incredibly powerful. In fact, they just put up a chart on, I think it was on Fox Business, about the Trump effect, about the crossings of the border. The border has essentially been secured. He's building the wall. He's doing all the other security. But this was supposed to take us decades. Remember that? Remember Langford? Everybody in Oklahoma, if you go to a town hall, you meet Langford, walk up to him and say, hey, about that bill that you told us was so urgent we had to do it and made MAGA look bad because MAGA opposed it because it was phony. Tell me about that. Tell me about the border. You sat up there in the Senate and said over and over again, you needed your bill, you need this compromise bill, we need to give amnesty, we need to do all this, secure the border, and President Trump did it under 60 days. Talk to me about that. Give me some feedback. Because, sir, you're a liar. This is what you got up there. Got a bunch of people that work for the Democrats. It's called controlled opposition. That bill is the perfect example of controlled opposition. They're going to have all the, oh, my God, there's so many security measures, and this is so amazing. And then in the campaign, when it was rejected by this audience and candidate Trump as not even worthy of discussion, remember that? We lit these people up. It's not even worthy of discussion. Unworthy of intelligent people who are busy to spend any time on it. because this is how this nation got in the jam of having 10 million illegal alien invaders cross-border just under Biden's watch, and many more here over the decades. Because what? The business interests wanted them here. The business interests wanted bigger consumer markets, and they wanted to drive down the price and cost of low-skilled labor. That's why it's here. That's why the whole visa program on the high-skilled labor. The H-1B visas, folks, they don't have a skill set better than yours. They don't have educational training better than yours. It's not. That's a lie. It's a bald-faced lie. What they do is they work for 50% less as indentured servants, which is unacceptable in America in the 21st century. But it happens. Why does it happen? Because the vested interests want it to happen. Jeff Davis, tell me about why is South Carolina have so many liberal policies when it's such a MAGA state, it's such a conservative state, sir, and what are you guys in the Greenville GOP, now the delegates are chosen to go to your state convention, what are you going to do about it?
Well, Steve, what we're doing is we're doubling down. We always double down. We never surrender. That's your motto and the president's motto. And what we're doing right now is we're trying to educate as many people about the precinct process. We came within 16 votes 2 years ago, taking out Drew McKissick. Drew McKissick was the vice chair with Ron McDaniel, so that kind of explains to you a little bit about the predicament we're here in the state of South Carolina. But really, what we're trying to educate people on are the influence of the political consultants. Political consultants and the amount of money that flows in the state of South Carolina is tremendous, and it's so much money based on the fact that we are first in the South of picking Republican presidential candidates. So we were the ones that selected or helped President Trump get over the hump in 2016 and also in 2024, defeating Nikki Haley here as her kind of last stand. But what we're trying to do is we're organizing. I will tell you, we came so close 2 years ago that the state party and actually the political consultants and the legislators have spent a ton of money actually trying to come in and infiltrate and really fight back on the precinct reorg strategy against us. And that's quite interesting to see them do it, but they've done it in a sense of recruiting people in under the guise of representing MAGA. So you'll find a lot of Rhino establishment pretending to be MAGA, even though they were supporters of Ron DeSantis or even as far as Nikki Haley. And what they have done is really fooled a lot of the electorate out there. So what we try to teach people about is the political and mental manipulation that goes on out there every day. We see it in the fake news media. You deal with it, on that national level, but we're also dealing with it substantially on the local level. And why it's harder here on the local level is because what happens is, it's one thing to hate Nancy Pelosi and those folks up in D.C. and yell and scream at the TV, but when it's your local politician, I got friends that I went to high school with, college with, that are elected officials, or went to law school with that are elected officials. Actually, South Carolina Speaker of the House was a classmate of mine, or 1 year ahead of me in at USC Law. But they do not. We used to think they were all okay. That our friends are sitting there managing and taking care of what's going on down at the State House. But really, all they're representing are the money special interests. There was a report that came out today. I mean, we literally in the state of South Carolina allow state agencies to lobby the legislature. Can you imagine a state agency getting funding to actually go down there to the State House and lobby, for more money to promote out more woke agenda type things? So I love what Russ Vogt was talking about with the impoundments and the rescissions of the, taking that funding away from NPR and those types of folks. That's the same battle we are fighting here at the local level, and we are going to win it. It will take time, because I will tell you, as you mentioned last night at our county convention, the other side has money. They have almost unlimited money. But it's encouraging for us to see what's happening on the national level, that funding is stopping, and we're trying to stop that type of funding right down here at the state level as well. So we don't need as much funding as the left needs or the rhino establishment needs to manipulate the citizenry out there. But we need a little bit. We need one for every dollar they spend or every $1,000 they spend, we need $1 or $2. But that's what we're trying to do. We do not want to become what we're purging. So we don't want to go after the money in a big way in that sense. But we do want to educate people and get more people involved. And I will tell you, here in the state of South Carolina, we got 2,307 precincts. And our goal is to activate each one of those 2,307 precincts with 3, 4, 5 MAGA, America First people that will get out there and door knock and help bring the data together and really spread the message. Nothing can defeat an active, small active group of people in each one of those precincts. And we're accomplishing it, and we're going to keep fighting. And we've got our state convention on May 3rd. I think we may be a few votes shy on doing that, but taking out Drew McKissick in the leadership. But we made some improvements this year on the state executive committee, getting some more people elected to be able to manage that process. And we'll keep fighting. We never surrender. So, and we can't thank you enough for coming down, and we can't thank you enough for what you're doing on the national level and educating us. And I would tell everybody, if you really want to learn about the process and what's really going on, watch Steve Bannon in War Room and get involved. We got to make this War Room posse in every state, and we got to make it 10 times the size it is now, because that is what manipulates and moves the needle. So thank you, Steve, for all you do.
It moves the needle. Political power is local. You saw that convention last night. It was amazing. 1,300 people on a Monday in April in a non-election year. Jeff, where do people go to find out more information about all this, sir?
They can obviously go to us at GreenvilleGOP.com, but our nonprofit and our 501c4, you can go to mySCGOP.news. We took, obviously the state party is the SCGOP. We just put a little my in front of it, and that kind of drove them nuts. You got my Coke and my SC votes and all that stuff. So we put mySCGOP and .news, and then we put out a lot of information out there. So that's what we're doing, and that's how we're educating people, and we're working with people like Dan Schultz and Steve Stern with the Shirt Company. So we're trying to spread that nationally as well.
Two of the best, Dan Schultz's Theory and Steve Stern, the Hammer. Jeff, thank you for so much. Can't wait till I get back down there. Yeah. Hang out with you folks. Tremendous.
Anytime. Thanks, sir.
That's what's changing the country right there. Tarrant County, Denton County, Greenville. It's at the local level. And you can see from the the Hill newspaper this morning, 70% of Republicans now identify as MAGA.